you talk about, because of our lifestyle, it's difficult. We end up having a lot of junk food. We're eating out a lot. But how about if we make a conscious effort to make our own meals or pack our lunch, for instance? So you're leaving the house very early, and so you probably can't have breakfast at that time. But how about if you pack your breakfast or if you pack your lunch so that you know that you're eating, you know what you're eating, and you're not ending up with so much junk food? Maxwell.
Yes, so I think that is one of the best options and way out, to be able to take your food from home to work, because that will really help. That kind of reduces your risk of eating outside. Now, as to what you take to work, for instance, it depends on you, the individual, and your food preferences. Some people want a tea, others want a porridge. So the local Ghanaian cereals are options. You can have oats, you can have Tom Brown, you can have millet porridge. However, what should come with it should be well balanced. Okay, you can go for wheat bread. Some don't really like the wheat bread, what we call brown bread. If you don't like it, fine. You can still go for your butter or sugar, but just reduce the portions for a pack of breakfast and a little amount of sugar and some amount of milk. When you are looking out for milk, you look out for the low-fat options. You know, so there are a lot of milk brands that are now having alternatives for low fat, especially they normally label it as green for most of the companies. So you can go for those options. Now, talking about milk, there are people too who put in a lot of milk. Somebody can put in a whole tin of milk in his tea or porridge. That is also of concern, because even in as much as the milk is low fat, there's still calories in it. And when you take a lot, you end up gaining a lot of weight. So that balance has to come in. So you can put in some milk, but not too much. Now, the amount you put depends on your level of activity and what you do. Now, going to lunch, when you are packing lunch, you need to look at complex carbohydrates. People don't like brown rice. Fine. If you don't like brown rice and it's just white rice, you can still add a lot of vegetables. For instance, kontomire, which are local Ghanaian stew, it's a very healthy meal, provided you can limit your oil. So if you have your white rice with kontomire, you are eating a lot more balanced diet, even though you are eating white rice. And that can come into help. If it's fufu you want, you can go for light soup that is made with fish, so that you don't put in a lot of meat. Even if you limit the fat, you go for the lean options. So these are alternatives that you have. And watch out for the portions. The portions are very important for me, because as long as you don't look at the portion control, you are still going to miss it. You may end up still gaining weight. And then when you come back home, then because you'll be late by coming back home, most people come back home late. So that is where the emphasis should be. Your meal should be less in calories, right from depending on the day. So breakfast should be a little more heavier, lunch in that same manner, because you'll be working. But in the evening, it should rather be less. But we have turned the whole thing upside down. It is now around 9, somebody has gotten home and he's going to eat a full mountain of fufu. I mean, when you do that, that will not work. You end up gaining a lot of weight. So we need to watch out and make sure that the supper is really less in calories, so that we can be able to meet our obesity. And one thing I want to add is that Ghanaians really glorify obesity. And when you look at the comment that our viewers were sharing, a lot of people were happy about obesity, and they said obesity is an African thing and people are beautiful when they are obese. But that is not the case, because come to the clinic, if you pick 5 patients, 4 of cardiovascular or lifestyle disease, obese. Okay, so those are some of the things we need to look at. Obesity should not be glorified. And when you have a relative who is losing weight, do not intimidate the person and think that the person is having economic issues, or the person having marital issues. That's why the person is losing weight. That is the right way to go. So we need to educate the general public about the risks of obesity and letting people to accept that losing weight is the right thing, so that our cultural beliefs and other things do not affect the rates of weight loss. Because when we keep allowing people to become obese, then we are heading towards a much dangerous terrain, because obesity is highly much associated with diabetes and other chronic diseases.
Okay, thank you for that, Matt.